All right, cool.
All right.
What up,
Joe,
buddy?
how are you, sir?
Doing awesome, man. Doing awesome. How about you?
Good, good. Just finished up a Twitter Spaces with Greg Osuri, founder of Akash, and
Yeah.
those guys are gonna fucking blow up, dude. They are. That project is so poised for just an explosion because look, they are the alternative marketplace for GPUs. And
Okay.
they're in testnet now for provisioning GPUs, and GPUs are required for AI. And
Quick
they're
question:
so
Are these the same GPUs that were the big mining GPUs early
yeah,
in crypto mining? Okay, got it.
yeah, but higher
Higher
quality
end.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you can't get them on the open market, but because everybody and their dog is buying them up and stockpiling because they know they're going to need more later, right? All the big AI
Yep.
companies, all the big hosting companies. So what he provides, what Akash provides, is the ability for all these idle processing sitting around to be available in a marketplace with a bidding process that actually drives the price down like 85% over what they would pay to Amazon or Azure or somebody else, because these people have invested millions and millions of dollars into these machines that they don't need the capacity yet, right? And so they can make the capacity available for anybody that wants to do AI, that wants to do heavy duty
Uh-huh.
processing, etc. They're just gonna, and around this,
That's
one of the
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
around this is going to end up being a marketplace of AI applications, of hosting applications, and their entire model is we are the chain and the infrastructure, and you pay with our token, but anybody can come in and build on this thing, right? So people can create all kinds of applications to make use of the compute power. They have CPU and GPU and everything else, or build their own applications to give people access to AI or do research or whatever. So it's I think they're really
Incubator.
going to blow up. Yeah, I think there's an
I mean,
opportunity there for funding
yeah.
projects related to them,
Yep.
right? So
Exactly. Yeah. I
exactly.
mean, that's what I would think right away is like go in if you have all this excess processing power that you're, I guess, aggregating from, it's not being used from, other firms. I don't know if those firms are already on their platform, if they're already in their offering, but, to resell that, you might as well go ahead and drop funding and, try to incubate some of these too, because I think you're going to get some
Exactly.
pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
yeah, that's cool, man. So what can we how do we watch those Twitter spaces after they happen?
So you can go to my wall and play it. It's recorded,
Okay.
but I actually recorded it on my desktop, and I'm going to put it into the podcast feed and onto the website.
All right, awesome.
So,
Yeah, because I
um,
definitely
go ahead.
no, I see a lot of, again, back to an old analog. I mean, it just sounds like you're telling a story. And I'm thinking about early.com days, and I'm thinking about when everything was ASPs, application service providers, the cloud, but
Yeah,
just a different
yeah,
way hosting. And I remember the hosting started up. I remember then there were all those server farms, and then you put a server, you would put one of those server farms on top of a backbone node. There's
yeah,
that great one in downtown Miami, and then everybody comes and builds and launches stuff. I see the same thing that could happen in this space. I am a little worried though about all the noise, just all the AI chatter, but it seems like it's keeping up to me. That it's not like
yeah. I
getting
mean, here's the thing:
oversold.
everybody and their dog, every startup on the planet is going to pivot to AI or launch an AI startup, right?
Yeah.
And it's just going to be just like .com. And these VCs know it. They're investing. They're just fucking shotgun investing in anything that comes in the fucking door because they know they got to be in 100 deals to get the couple that are going to be the $1 trillion deals, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
and that's just the model, and it's not going to change anytime in the near future. This is not one of those things where it's going to like burn out and all the money is going to go back into something else, because this shit is not going in anywhere. It is going to be a part of our lives forever. So the investments are going to continue hot and furious, but all of the bullshit that's just somebody fucking slapping AI on the name of their existing startup, those are going to die, right? And that's just the bottom line, you know. And look, people disagree with me. People agree with me,
what?
but well, my prediction is that all like anybody that's investing solely in SaaS opportunities right now, or applications of almost any kind, unless they're really highly specialized and vertical, they're going to die. All of the functionality that we need as humans, especially at a horizontal layer initially, is going to be sucked into AI models. And so we're not going to need specialized applications anymore for our CRM or our Excel spreadsheet or whatever, right? The AI will do that shit for us. So right now, my feeling is that kind of generalized business applications are dead men walking. I don't think they survive very long.
That's interesting, because I remember when we were implementing all this ERP around in the late 90s, and you'd go into these were companies, they've been around. These are like Fortune 100 type companies. They've been around a long time. They got just piles of IT debris just layered on top of each other. It's all hooked together with like duct tape. And the ERP guys come in and try to like move all that legacy data and everything over into the new application. But they never really, the old applications never go away. They're still lurking back there. And this is what I'm getting at, is what I think is interesting, because what you're saying, or, I think what you're saying, probably a lot of people are saying it, is that that now, instead of it being like functional or horizontally oriented, like applications, like you said, CRM, or remember PeopleSoft and HR and all of that, it's going to be like holistic on the whole organization.
Yeah.
And then it's going to make, and it'll make all the ERP stuff basically go away.
Right.
It kind of clean it out. That's interesting.
Yeah. Because here's the thing, right? If you're an enterprise application, there are dozens, literally dozens of open source models available that you can implement in your enterprise. And there will be dozens of enterprise LLM AI providers that will make it available as a service, right? So you'll be able to train all of your data, all of your internal data on the AI, and then functionality, the shit that we do that says, hey, follow up on this sales call then, or hey, book this sales data here, or do the accounting monthly presentation here. We don't need that functionality anymore. We tell the AI, present this. We tell the AI, create this, or the AI starts learning that we need this, right? And then the dashboards get built automatically. So we no longer need applications. They will, for the most part, die, except for verticals. I did see a really powerful one yesterday. Robert Scoble, who's kind of an old tech contact of mine, posted his psychiatrist is using a brand new AI system that takes notes of the entire session with him and notices him physically from the video and makes notes about that, talks about all the things, and then at the end summarizes everything that the psychiatrist would usually do, and then offers other ways for treatment, other methodologies, things to think about next time, things to tell the patient to work on. And he posted the session up from his psychiatrist with the notes from the AI, and it was absolutely amazing. That's one niche that's not going to be sucked in right away. Healthcare, mental health, those kinds of things, there will be providers, but they won't be sucked into general AI, right? But for the most part, everything else we do as normal humans, it's gone.
Well, so some interesting things to think about is then, okay, so if now you have sort of big AIs running the enterprises, then I hope people are thinking about, how do we then layer in, digital currencies in the sense, or, different blockchain applications that advances, because it seems like that, crypto's built to function in these models in different ways, shapes, and forms. So I think I'd really be interested in companies doing that at this point.
It really has some amazing potential. Interestingly enough, with Akash, we were discussing the fact that they have this flood of AI developers looking for GPUs coming to them that have had no interaction with blockchain, no interaction with crypto whatsoever, right?
Huh.
And so he's enabling credit card payments and he's enabling stablecoin payments. But right now, if you want to book something in Akash, you're booking it with their token, right? But then
Yep.
what happens is it's the education process that happens, because now you have all these really high-end developers, like, you know, AI developers are not like, you know, creating app store templates. They are going, oh wait, holy shit, this decentralizes compute power for me, it reduces the price, and it equalizes the playing field for me, and it's permissionless. I don't have to ask permission to use this or buy it. I don't have to go through a gatekeeper to get access to this power. And I think one of the things that comes out of that is that a lot of people start going, oh, wait a minute, there is a use for this shit. Holy shit, right? And so I think that your thought here about, you know, crypto being used to pay for it, et cetera. Well, what becomes a lot easier? Does it become easier to connect your bank account and give it permission and fucking do ACHs through AI? Or does it become easier to have a stable coin or another token that's connected to your local personal AI that's able to send out payments for you or able to pay for compute, or right? So, I mean, it does make sense that this evolution could actually, that this ramp up of AI could actually ramp up crypto acceptance, at least on the spending part, right? It may not be the financial applications yet, but you know, it's the gateway drug. So
Yeah, I mean, it is, because you think about what a lot of these other companies are dealing with, you know, like the organic, like food sourcers and stuff, where they're essentially just basically tracking it, you know, where the inputs are coming from into some product, or where the dye or something from what country. And they just to monitor, or I guess certify that it's some type of, you know, good standard of some kind, I guess. If there's tokens along those models, I mean, the information carry, you know, NFTs on each batch of input supply product. You know, there's all kinds of ways that I think that, you know, that is not getting implemented fast enough right now, because humans still have to figure it out and still have to make the decisions in it.
right.
And they don't know it. Like you just said, if all these people are coming to Kosh with, you know, looking for GPUs and they know nothing about crypto, I'm like, where are they coming from?
Right.
You know,
well, they're doing searches for GPUs. Where can I find GPU? Right. Because
they want to get into AI. They want to get into AI, basically. Yeah.
They're already AI researchers. They're AI developers. They just got funded $2 million, $5 million, $10 million. They barely have a budget for the GPUs and Amazon won't give them GPUs, and Azure won't give them GPUs, and Alibaba can't give them GPUs because they're holding them all. They're enterprise customers that want them. Right. So here we come. They come flooding in. They're like, holy shit, everybody and their dog now wants to be an AI startup. So what happens? They go looking. Yeah. That's why I think Akash is going to blow the fuck up, because
I agree with that. I agree.
They will be the provider, man. They will. And Shizzy, I think, is big into Akash. So he's probably a pretty happy camper to see this coming. Anyway, they got a lot of cool shit coming. They're in testnet for this GPU stuff. All this is coming. Niblet says, there will always be a Long Island iced tea blockchain in every disruption. Absolutely, dude. There'll be a million scams in this space. ERP, SAP, people streaming such traumatic memories. Yes. Oh my God. Fucking SAP. Holy shit.
The never-ending implementation. Yeah, those implementations never stop.
Niblets. Yeah, I mean, it was a 5-year fucking implementation that was supposed to be 9 months and cost an extra $50 million. I mean, that was like the biggest scam in
and luckily ever. It gets finished right around time for the new upgrade cycle.
Exactly.
So that one, that's $27 million now. So go ahead.
Niblet said, cannabis seed to sale supply is a natural for this, but that industry is still basically a guy in a van. Business cultures need to catch up on the tech. Yeah, I think what happens is like, so I know what's going to happen with OpenAI, right? But because Sam Altman is also the founder of WorldCoin. You know, that cheesy ass fucking blockchain that had the orbs that was scanning people's faces to prove identity. That's his project. And that project is still advancing and ongoing. I can guarantee you that there will be a role for WorldCoin in OpenAI AI, right? There's going to be a transfer of funds available via that. And so he's signing up people left and right all over the world to join WorldCoin and get his model of building a UBI. He built WorldCoin because he wanted a UBI, because he knew that his AI shit was going to destroy jobs, right? So and I'm sure he wants to make money from it, but at the end of the day, that's probably going to be a part of the open AI model. But I got to tell you, yesterday I tweeted a tweet out. Salesforce is doing the smart thing. Salesforce is open sourcing all of their AI innovations. And why do they do that? Right? Because the incentives align. Right? We always talk about incentives in blockchain and DeFi. Who has the incentives? You know, what makes it work, not work, TradFi, whatever. Well, Salesforce is smart. Salesforce released yesterday coding AI that beats all of the existing AIs in the markets in terms of performance and generating code for applications, right?
Mhm.
They open sourced it, not because, well, maybe they are magnanimous and they're wonderful people and all that good shit. But the really reason for open sourcing it is AI improves the more people use it. So the more people contribute to the model and do work on the model and research on the model gets better. And guess what? Then Salesforce now has a superior AI in their platform that allows people to deploy applications on Salesforce, right? So it's in their best interest to release this shit as open source. And so the bottom line of all of that is that Meta's releasing as open source. All of these big companies and small researchers are releasing their shit as open source. So there is going to be a truly kind of decentralized nature to AI. And that to me gives me a lot of hope, right? I'm hoping that this means we won't have a concentration of power and data because there will be so many options for people to use. So
I sure hope so. I mean, because human nature is really to, conquer and take
yep.
and expand. I mean, that's from back, single cell organisms all the way up to humans or whatever.
Yep, absolutely.
Maybe it can save us from ourselves.
Yeah. Well, and again, like I said, the incentives align. Your product can get better because you release it that way. So it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be fun.
Says, OpenAI's customer service bot is ironically a complete garbage Gopher server. For those who call Gopher. Why not use GPT for this ES bot? That's insane that they're not. But I have a feeling it's just a matter of time allocation for them. They just don't have the time to fucking do it, right? So, real quickly, Sean, yesterday, I'm going to put a link in the show notes, but yesterday we were talking about funding, leaving the space. Why can't I get this to, there we go. That's so weird. Funding, leaving the space. Sean had posted data in the Telegram channel. If you're not in our Telegram channel, t.me/mission DeFi, t.me/mission DeFi. Had some folks joining yesterday. I'm always excited to see more stuff coming in. But this is the data showing the decline in crypto VC. And then there's a discussion going on in the Telegram channel about this and what it means. And, Sean is basically saying, look, the bottom line is a lot of people have left the space. And I think it's impossible to argue against that. I think it's just a matter of, is it just waiting on the sidelines, or is the money coming out of exchanges, or what? Right. So, and I'm not sure. I need to look at that data again because I didn't look at the source of the data. Let's see. Source is PitchBook as of February 13th, 2023. Oh, deal value versus deal count. Okay. So deals are not being closed. Doesn't necessarily mean that the VCs have taken their money and gone home, right? At the end of the day, they have partners who have invested expecting a return, and either they close the fund and return the money, or they find other investments. So I also have a feeling a lot of them are going to pivot more and more to AI because everybody and their dog will want to be a part of it. But anyway, so I wanted to make sure everybody saw that because we discussed it yesterday.
Yeah, let me add something to that too. When you see that cycle of funding, it's actually a classic VC cycle because you see it runs up in late 20, early 21, and then you see a ton of money getting reinvested. There's a lot of new VCs, et cetera, at that point. And then, of course, you see the market start tailing off, and deals are harder to find at size that are good. But that money's still there. So I know I'm not disagreeing with the point that there's not a bunch of deals getting done, but I know for a fact that, let's just say, of company that's somewhere between 35 and 45 on the top 50 VCs for crypto, I know they're sitting on like $600 million in dry powder. And I know guys at the top are sitting on billions. So to me, quality deals will still get funded.
Yep.
I think it's just that it just shakes out all the bullshit,
Yeah,
which is
I totally
not
agree.
necessarily a bad thing.
It's
You know,
a
I
very
mean,
good thing.
yeah.
Very good thing.
So I look at it as kind of for markets to turn. And again, I'm not really talking just crypto here. There has to be like capitulation.
Yep.
You know, it really has to get where you're just like, fuck it, dump it all, you know? And once that happens, that's when all the flotsam gets cleared out. And I see that kind of happening because, you know, we see Sean brings up that point quite frequently that I don't know how many tokens are out there, what, 30,000, 300,000, whatever. But, you know, how many of those are actually completely worthless?
Right.
80% maybe? I mean, is that too high? Okay.
Oh, I think
so fair. Okay. So, you know, that wipes out about 200 and something billion dollars of the crypto market cap right there, at least, somewhere in that range. So to me, that has to all be like mark to market or eaten. Those losses have to. And then everybody's trained up better. The VCs are smarter. They know more to like, hey, maybe we should see some financial projections on this. Or, you know, what's that kid doing over there? What are all those clicks I'm hearing? What video games he playing? You know, that kind of nonsense has to stop. And so to me, I look at it as all good news. It's just painful. We always want everything to keep going up, but it just doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with you, buddy. That's spot on. Spot on. All right, let's see. Niblet says, ask GPT how to deploy GPT as the CS bot. Not at that time is no longer an excuse. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's a little more complex than that. I think they are, they have to like train the model on the questions they're getting now, blah, blah, blah. But you're right. There really is no excuse. He said, I've been asking about this for weeks. Knowing that money has left is not actionable. We need to know where it is going and why in order to act. Charts only tell a sliver of the story. Yeah, I agree. I think it would be helpful to kind of get better insights into what's happening with the money.
Yeah, one thing I just want to jump in on that real quick. There was a chart that Sean put up a couple weeks ago, a few days, I can't remember, but we made the point that global outbound from the exchanges, crypto, was roughly, you know, that graph was roughly on the same slope line, which means like, you know, correlated with shrinkage in U.S. domestic or U.S. M1 supply, money supply, I believe it was M1. So, you know, we said, wow, that's weird because why would that happen? You know, because it's the global number. And so I guess what I'm kind of trying to get at is I think as rates go up and the Fed balance sheet contracts, what we see is, you know, the liquidity pool's getting smaller, you know, the dollar pool out there.
Right.
And so I think what that kind of shows me is that somehow it's this, I don't want to say just disappearing, but the way the stuff comes off of the Fed balance sheet, there's no really money changes hand. The bond just expires, okay?
Right.
And it just kind of goes away. So maybe just that contraction of, say, what it looks to me like almost global M1, because if it's correlating with the exchanges, or, you know, maybe it's all Americans running through Estonia and all these exchanges. I don't know, but it just seems to me that might be why we're all having trouble figuring out where is it all going.
Right.
None of us seem to be able to figure that out. We're trying, but you know, it has to be something, I think, in the economics or accounting arena that's just taking liquidity off the balance sheets in some way. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. I don't know, but anybody has any more ideas? Obviously, we'll talk about this a lot.
Yeah, Shizzy said, I wouldn't say worth. If a pair of Crocs don't appeal to you, doesn't mean they are worthless. I think that was on our previous.
On all the tokens,
Yeah. That's a good point.
That's a good point.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I think there are some that I think there's opportunities for some to be resuscitated at some point. So,
yeah.
Did you see?
But the broader point was just collapsing into quality is not necessarily a bad thing, because then all of us who are in the space another year, another 2 years, you know, we've seen more cycles. We can make more gut instinctual calls on things, knowing how, like, you know, a lot of the things like Pepe or whatever. I remember I was looking at it, and of course I didn't do it because the gas fees were too high. But I realized that it spiked too high, and I'm like, this is a joke. It's not going to keep going. And, you know, sure enough, it didn't. But, you know, Ordinex, you know, I played that one, and I played a couple other ones that I knew were going to peter out after, you know, a couple of weeks. So, you know, then they have to execute. So, you know, we just all keep learning more and more and more. I think there was to the broader point of just that stuff is just kind of disappearing into like accounting ledger land, and we can't quite figure it out. But I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I just think it's a thing that is going to bring more quality. It's just painful near term.
True. Did you see? Oh, Niblet says Sean did answer that. Some contraction is leverage unwinding, which won't show on M1.
Okay.
Did you see the Evil Empire's numbers that they released yesterday? Tether, that everybody thinks they're the Evil Empire.
Oh no, they're the Evil Empire now. No, I didn't know it. I love it. Okay, cool.
Yeah. They're the Evil Empire. 1.48 billion in net profit in Q1 for a stable coin. Reserve surplus, another record high of 2.44 billion.
So 2.44 billion over liabilities. Okay, that's good.
They've wound down their secured loans from 8.7% to 6.5%, and they're going to get that, claiming they'll get that to zero. They're leveraged. Their U.S. Treasury holdings are an all-time high, 53 billion, representing 64% of their total reserves. And it says if you were to rank all of the world's countries in orders of how many U.S. Treasuries they own, Tether would be just under Mexico.
I love it. It does worry me a little bit, though. I wonder if they're holding all these U.S. securities now. I wonder if they're the ones in buying all the 10-year paper that nobody wants. That got like Silicon Valley Bank and everybody in trouble. I wonder. I'd like to see the aging on that paper just to see if are they going to be Iceland for the 2008 financial scandal where it all got dumped there.
Yeah, I thought somebody said something about it being short term. I don't know. Bank deposits have been reduced by over 90%. So they've dropped from 5.3 billion in banks to 481 million in banks.
Wait, what does that mean? Their cash deposits in banks?
Yeah, they're moving it all into treasuries and shit because they don't want to be dependent on a bank collapsing.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, it'll keep the SEC and FinCEN off their ass because then they're not contaminating the pure TradFi sector.
Exactly. So anyway, pretty big numbers. And then Sam Kazemian obviously has an interest in where stablecoins end up, right? He says that stablecoins are the $3 trillion opportunity in crypto after BTC and ETH. Stablecoin issuers have near unlimited upside. Tether's only 9% to $1 trillion, but its size is truly size already. If you were to rank all the world's countries in order of U.S. Treasuries they own, Tether would be just under Mexico. Tether reported higher Q1 profits than Netflix, Starbucks, Cash App, PayPal, and many S&P 500 corporations. So basically what he's saying is stablecoins are a good place to be, folks. And that there is a model for profits. And in his world, the model for profits funnel out to people that hold the governance tokens and the other things that they offer in their network. So,
well, what's interesting is that you think about, I don't know how long, what's Tether been around since like 2016 or 17, something like that?
I guess. I don't know when it started. That's interesting.
So we're somewhere around there within a couple of years, let's say. And you think about like Amazon and Google and all those companies and how long they ran, and Netflix for that matter, losing bazillions of dollars.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Amazon was in the red for like 20 something years.
Right.
And so now you take this that was on 2 years ago or like 21 or early 21. I mean, all the Tether FUD and everything that was out there, it was always the bad story every day was Tether related. And to think now, 5-6 years later, they're churning $6 billion in profits, which cash flow number is probably a lot higher than that. Whereas it took all these like giant tech companies decades to get there. I think it's an amazing story.
Yeah, it really is. And look, I think there was a lot of shady shit in the beginning. I think they realized they could end up in jail if they didn't fucking clean up their act. So I think they did. And at the end of the day, I don't want a centralized stable coin, but it's dominating and it's taking share away from USDC right now. So, it's just something we have to think about and consider in everything we're doing. So
does USDT have a wallet tracking feature in it? Like the,
they can blacklist wallets. Yeah. Yeah. They have the
Okay.
same feature. They do it frequently. They
Oh,
release
okay.
a report I think they release a report every quarter on how many blacklists they did based on law enforcement requests, et cetera. So Bing chat, Bing's AI says that USDT started in 2014. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah. So still less than 10 years.
exactly.
And,
Exactly.
and this is a great example. So now you look at Tether and you can actually build out a financial model and value it based off of, cash flows, EBITDA, whatever you want to call it. It's a real business now
Yeah.
that
Exactly.
is generating profits and, running. I mean,
Yep.
it is a tech company
Yeah.
of sorts.
Yep.
Um,
Absolutely.
but that's an amazing. So more stories like this. Like, why isn't Stellar I mean, maybe they are. I don't know. But why isn't Stellar profitable? Why isn't Cardano profitable? Why aren't like these other ones that have been around since 16? Why aren't they generating enough cash flow to grow and as a real company does? I mean, I think that's what I think. A lot of those are going to get bloated out at this point.
I mean, we have to be fair. The USDT's primary advantage is centralized exchanges, right? So
Yeah.
that is like the primary use case for USDT. Now, that's not to say that they're not building other things and doing other things, right? So, and they are being I shouldn't say this because I haven't looked at the numbers recently. I think the numbers are picking up for them in DeFi, right? As well, right? People are the problem is we need actually decentralized stablecoins, and we don't have a lot of them. And it's sad that Bean is kind of like fucking withering away, because what we have now is still dependency. We have regulatory intervention that could occur with USDT and USDC, and so it still puts us in a vulnerable position. But you're right. The fact is that Tether, throughout all the shit they went through, kept operating, kept running, kept building, kept changing how they operated. And, frankly, they got their shit together, and they provide a service that without them, this space would have been a fucking black hole. So again, I would much rather anything decentralized besides USDT.
Yeah, I agree.
USDC.
But I'll tell you, it is a little bit,
it is what it is.
Yeah, but it is a little bit refreshing too. Like when you take some profits and then, you don't have to go to BT. Well, I mean, I remember always having to go to BTC, 3-4 years ago, I always did. And, then you're like, you never quite feel safe. There's now a psychological perception with, I guess, USDC and USDT that, I don't mind leaving stuff. Now, I'm not on centralized exchanges right now, other than, Coinbase, but, I'm comfortable leaving it in wallets.
Yep.
I'm not, I don't worry about it. It's one less thing to worry about.
That's right. Shizzy says the guys at Tether should go and run some of those regional banks.
Hell yeah.
He said, or buy regional banks for the banking licenses. Yeah, I don't think they'd ever get approved. I think the banks would lose their license if Tether bought them. Back to AI, but also related to blockchain. Really fascinating article. I'm trying to reach out to this guy, Lewis, to get him on the show. He and some other researchers at 7X Ventures did an entire really extensive, here it is, research paper on using ZK proofs within AI, right? So they go through and they talk about the problems of AI. I'm just going to give you one example, but this is a really well done paper, and plus it'll teach you a lot about how AI functions. So I'll put this in the show notes. Everybody recommend reading it. But one of the big problems is trusting the data that was used for building the AI model, right? The LLM, right? The large language model, because there's no, they can say to you, we searched Wikipedia and we searched the web and we ingested X number of words and documents and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, there's no way to prove that you did that, right? And that would be the same. It becomes even more important when you start looking at niche cases like healthcare or whatever. How do you attest that you've got the most recent data? How do you attest that the data was yours to use, that you were allowed to use it, right? Well, this is a really interesting article that gets into how ZK proof can actually solve a lot of these problems. And there are even people doing computational shit related to AI on ZK. So really interesting. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this today, but I would encourage everyone to go read it because it gives you a use case. They calling it ZKML. ZK machine learning, but it gives a use case and a lot of different specific use cases within this article where ZKs could have a really big impact on AI. The other thing is so if you have that impact and you have things like Akash decentralizing GPU access, now, we're back to that question you asked earlier, Joe, which is there a case to be made for crypto to be a part of this and to be providing things to it? And the really cool thing is these kind of infrastructure plays to me are really sexy in this regard, because I think they introduce people to the power of what's possible here without contaminating it with token sales or speculation. And then it opens their minds up, right? They're building these applications, they're building AI stuff, and then they go, oh, how am I going to get paid? And they go, wait a minute, I built this on a blockchain, or I did this on the blockchain, or I'm using GPA from a crypto marketplace. They start thinking about the ways they can utilize tokens and crypto within their business. And that to me is very promising. So
remind me real quick, I always get these a little bit somewhat confused, but when you look at like ZK, I guess, versus optimistic rollups, and how that is the data real question? Is this real data or not? And how it then somebody comes back and I guess says, yeah, it's real data, or something does. I'm thinking how in optimistic being it, I guess it just assumes that the data is real until somebody disproves it 2 or 3 steps down the line or something.
Yeah. I don't know the mechanics of how it functions, but I do know that yes, it's so optimistic assumes it's correct until it's not, and ZK actually proves it. Is my generic average Joe understand.
So what I'm getting at is, so when we're taking that data and then that data is going into, I guess, the chat module piece, the LLM or something, how that data then is presented or verified or validated before, I guess, it goes into the AI engine, or does it fit better? Is it like the key fit in the lock better at that point? Is it a better match than, say, optimistic or rollups? I think there's something really technical in there, and I just don't know it. So I'm not saying that you have to know it. I just think there's some like latch in there that makes a lot of sense, probably. So I recommend everybody take a look deeper at this, because there might be something. One of those integral things about how, 2 things. One, how the data gets into the AI module, but also when we talk about the data economy and, we talk about the genomic data a lot, but, the real precursor to that was all of our browsing data, all of our Silicon Valley data that gets monetized that we created. I mean, I wonder if there's a way to then have that data that the ZK thing is validating going into the AI module, if there's some way to broadly speaking, like digital rights management kind of thing on that data, or ownership of that data, depending on who it's coming from, if there's a way to monetize that too, that would be pretty interesting.
And this is actually going to become a really big issue, right? And look, all of them, OpenAI, everybody is operating the same way that Airbnb and Uber and Lyft operated, which is plow forward, get enough users so that the fucking regulators don't kill them and lawsuits don't kill them. Because at the end of the day, all of the data that we're using in OpenAI is data and information that somebody else created, right? That's true of the art that gets created. It's being based on art that real artists have created. That's true of the data and the information and the writings that are in the machine learning model that allows us to use it to tell us what to do or how to write something or whatever. There are going to be some really serious intellectual property issues that come up, and there will be models for compensating these people, because they're not going to get away with it forever, right? Eventually somebody's going to say, that's mine. And there are actually a lot of technology developments being done for artists and writers, et cetera, to be able to somehow watermark. It's not technically a watermark, but watermark their creations, so that if it shows up in an algorithm and an AI model, then it can charge for it, right? Or whatever. So it's going to be a big issue. This data piece is a big issue. Really fascinating for me. This is a really long piece, but really fascinating for me to see how some of the tech that I didn't think we could actually use what we're doing here can actually be utilized specifically around AI and machine learning models, how people are even doing AI compute on chain because they want a record of what they've done. So really cool stuff. I do recommend everybody take a breeze through that.
Yeah,
So,
that sounds really good.
I'm going to just link to this, but Adam Cochran, one of my favorites on Twitter, basically does this beautiful 5-tweet thread slamming the fuck out of the SEC, and basing it on the fact that so I haven't seen the response yet to Coinbase. I'll read it tonight. We'll talk about it maybe Thursday. But the SEC did respond to Coinbase. Basically, the gist of what I get is they're saying, "Fuck you, we're going to keep regulating via enforcement." Is essentially what I heard they're saying, but I haven't read it yet. And basically, what he's saying is that the SEC claimed in their response that there's no need, they don't need to respond. And what he's saying is, here's everybody in the federal government that has actually clarified, given regulatory clearance 2013 through 2015, FinCEN, IRS, FEC, EBA, Government Accounting Office, and the CFTC have all done specific rulings and regulatory approaches specific to the use case that is crypto. So, good piece. Adam always does great shit. You should be following if you're not. But anyway. Just my monthly rant to DeFi founders. Stop fucking using Linktree. Please. You have a website. You have a fucking website. You can put your links on your website while still explaining the benefits of your protocol or product to people who visit you, instead of sending them to an ugly ass list of links on somebody else's domain where you're probably going to lose them because they're only going to click once to see what you've got. You're not showing what you got. So please stop fucking using Linktrees. Don't be an idiot. I just want to bring this up. So I sent in some USDC to Coinbase yesterday to transfer out, and I did it on the Polygon network. Like 4 hours later, my money hadn't shown up, but the Polygon network showed that the transaction was successful and had completed. So I contacted Coinbase, and they said, the lady was like, "Oh, well, we're having some problems there. We're working on wallet. We don't have a timeline for when it'll work." So
yeah, we're on Operation Draining the Till right now.
So I went to their status page, and I recommend anybody that doesn't know it. Most technical companies have a status page where you can go check the status of their functions, of their servers, and etc. And there's a status that they're having problem with Polygon, Bitcoin Cash, and XLM. Right. Well, I look at the Polygon one. It's been going for 2 days as of yesterday. Right. And I'm like, okay, maybe, just maybe, when someone goes to get the wallet address for a deposit, you let them know that you can't figure out how to fucking make deposits work right now, and you'll have to get back to them. Right. So they use something else. You know, my money wasn't an emergency, so I wasn't like panicked over it, but I was just kind of like, what the fuck? Right. So anyway, think about that when you're building your products. Make sure you're communicating everything you can.
So the love fest is over between you and Brian Armstrong?
No, I still like it. I don't hold a lot of adoration for Brian, but I do respect what he's built and what he's doing. Let's see. Euphoric says, this is exactly where I've been focusing a lot of my research and theories on recently. Great to hear you guys covering it. By the way, everybody, if you're not in the community, join the community. Euphoric has posted a really cool concept around DAO management and AI. He did hear that we were talking about MakerDAO's efforts in that space yesterday, but this is the exact kind of conversations I really want to see happen in the community, and I really appreciate you posting that, dude. Thank you so much. I hope we can get some engagement going around that. I love that you're doing the research around it, and would love to learn more about what you learn. If you want to come on the show and talk about it, that would be fun too. So just let us know. Feel free to reach out. Niblet says Polygon has responsive customer support where you can post tickets and get responses back. No gopher bots and their bullshit Discord. Actual customer service for humans. I love Polygon. Yeah, they are really good about that. I remember like 3 years ago, they already had that in place. I had an issue with the wallet, something with the bridge or something, and I actually called and there was a fucking human there that answered my question, which was just shocking. So Jizzy says, OKX shut down my account for no KYC. Now I'm forced to use Coinbase, sadly. Yeah. I'm still using Coinbase and Binance US, but I'm a little nervous about Binance US. So go ahead, Joe.
Oh, no, I was going to say, Shizzy, there's a couple other ones out there that I think you could still use that don't. I don't think XT.com requires KYC.
Ah,
I used that a couple of years ago, and it was just moved in, bought something, moved out. It was my Chinese pork pig play or whatever using blockchain
oh yeah,
technology.
yeah.
Pig X was the token. Yeah, it was it vaporized. But the point is that there are other ones out there. I think. What
Niblets
about?
reminded us about Trade Ogre that Sean brought up.
That's right. Yeah, Trade Ogre. And you know what's interesting? I was looking at Trade Ogre, and a lot of interesting coins on there. Lots of pairs. BTC, Monero pairs. I mean, it was really interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely worth some research over there. That's for sure.
Ethereum validators post-merge have earned 46 million in staking rewards, and the rewards have hit a record 8.6% for being a validator staking on Ethereum right now. And that was in the first week in May. Say they're basically citing the meme coin craze as pushing it up, generating more fees, giving them more money for being validators. But it's cool. 997 Ether in the week, representing a 40% increase over the previous week's income of $33 million. Oh, that was $46 million in a week earned. And that's above the previous week at $33 million. That's basically they're tracing the data back to PayPay, driving the prices and gas fees up, which means that then validators earn more money. So you're at an 8.72% staking earning. So keep launching those meme coins, guys, please.
Yeah, if we could somehow combine ETH meme coins and BTC ordinals into some grand scheme of
that'd be fucking awesome
looping strategy.
Yeah.
That would be the ultimate one. I mean, but when I saw Pepe going, I'm like, oh shit, here we go. When I see stuff like this running, you're at the end of the cycle. I mean, or you're I don't know how to say the end of the cycle, but you're staring into something.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
People are looking for action.
Yep.
And they're looking for volatility, and all of a sudden here comes this thing.
Yep.
But those don't last. I mean, I know everybody goes, oh, but look at Doge. I'm like, yeah, but would you really buy Doge now?
No.
I wouldn't. I mean, I would have bought it at 8 zeros and a 1 on the right, if I could go back in time. But you could do that with a lot of tokens.
Well,
so why not go to one?
I'm sitting on a bit of a stack of Doge that I bought for the kids a while back that's earned some money. So it's nice.
Well, I mean, my point is that it's never probably it's got a long shot of turning into a business that generates cash flow and reports earnings. Like, say, we talked about Tether earlier.
Exactly.
And so that's why I try to pick projects that actually the underlying business model makes sense and has a path to some kind of, I don't know, tech future where it's doing something, because I see all the financial protocols and, they're all best ones are going to win basically and get aggregated into giant financial plays. And, and that's how that wins. I mean, the other ones like, all the different DEXs out there with yield farms, I mean, that's dead man walking to me. I mean, that's just going to get gutted. But, things like this and things like, Tether and other, models where they can generate cash flow, those are the ones that come out of the cycle at the end, in 2 years or 1.5 years or whatever we're talking about, doing okay. But I don't know if the meme coins, I mean, Doge obviously way ahead of everybody, but I don't think Pepe coin is going to be around then. I don't think the games are going to be around. It's kind of like Snow Dog and, I mean, God, we haven't talked about them in ages, but, just vaporized, obviously. Not but I'm saying the other ones.
Yeah,
so,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
So they're almost like meme coins in the sense that it was like, hey, it was a fun experiment, but, thanks for playing. So, that's always the hard part here. Because we want the action. You got to sort of always figure out, are you a trader or are you an TRADER or are you an investor? And it's hard to be an investor in this space. Just, where you just forget about it. It is very hard because you want to, if you don't forget about it, you go make 400% return in 2 hours. You're like, yeah, this is what I love about crypto. So to me, I think that's what's always hard for me is figure out what I am at that point. And I think a lot of the content that Sean puts up, you talk about, I talk about, Niblets, Fizzy, not leaving anybody out. It all helps you have a broader perspective on things and figure out where your balance is. So
absolutely. No, I love
my
it,
words
dude.
of
That makes
wisdom.
total sense. I love those were very wise words of wisdom. Thank you for sharing. I'm done, Joe. That's all I got for today.
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, I saw one thing today before we go about the FDIC blaming the Signature Bank collapse. I think it was Signature. It was either SVB or Signature, one of those two, on crypto.
Oh,
So,
sure.
let's try to talk about that on Thursday too. I mean, obviously they're going
Yeah.
to blame it on something, but it just seems so weird that everybody's using crypto as the excuse for that stuff. When, again, we just had a great show talking about all the great things happening or all the
Yep.
positive developments happening. And yet here we go. Here comes, Miss 1985, who's going to blame it all on crypto,
Exactly.
the bank. Well, we all know what the real problem was there is that
Exactly.
they got fucked up on the paper situation, the bonds. When Feds raised rates, they didn't keep throwing the ball. They effed it up. And then a stampede where panic was
bad
caused.
management.
Yeah, that's it. It wasn't crypto. So to me, I'm like, it just shows that there's a big fear out there. I think within the TradFi world, the regulatory world, of getting disrupted, which is, what did I lose you?
No,
Which is a good thing for us.
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Again, just keep learning. Don't risk the whole stack, no matter what you're doing. Be in it for the long haul, and don't. It's not. I mean, some people get lucky, but you're really trying to think about where is this going to be in 2035 at this point, and trying to position yourself so that at 2035 hits, you are effing retired. So,
absolutely. Thanks everybody for joining us today. The spaces I did will be in the podcast feed, so be on the lookout for that, and on the website missiondefi.com. If you haven't joined our community yet, we have a great little community of people that are sharing, and just, we got big thinkers in there, Joe, and that's what I love is that it's people that are really examining and doing things like Euphoric, doing the research on DAOs and AI and how that can function and how those can improve. I mean, that's the kind of shit you want to see. And there's just some really smart people that listen to us. I still haven't figured out why, but I'm glad they're here. So, t.me/mission DeFi, t.me/mission DeFi is how you join the community. Love seeing new folks come in. When you come in, please go to the introduce yourself channel and tell us about yourself. Tell us why you're here. Tell us about how you found the show. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you hate. Tell us what you're doing in crypto, what part of the world you're from, whatever you're comfortable with. We love seeing that stuff. It's a lot of fun to learn about everybody and their thoughts, and then dive into the channels and give us your thoughts on the conversations that are happening, or start a new one. You're welcome to do that. It's a free and open marketplace of ideas. Thank you, Niblets. Thank you, Shizzy. Thank you, Euphoric, for joining the conversation today. We appreciate you guys being here. We love and appreciate everybody that listens. We'll be back on Thursday for Sean Day.
Yay!
And, looking forward to that as usual. He has not given me a sneak peek of the topics for discussion this week, so it's going to be interesting to see what that's all about. Euphoric said it takes a genius to recognize genius. Man, that's nice, Euphoric. Thank you. So
where do we have one of those?
He's talking exclusively about me, I think.
I know.
I'm just kidding. If you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please just take a minute to rate and review us. It really helps us boost our profile in the feed. And the same is true on YouTube. Please click the little bell, give us a thumbs up, and make sure you're subscribed so you get alerted when new episodes come out. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you Thursday. Appreciate you being here. And Joe, have a great afternoon.
You too, buddy. And thanks, everyone, for being here. Always a good time. I know, Brad, you did interview Ralph from Casper
I did.
Labs yesterday. Yeah. He said it was a great. He really enjoyed meeting you.
Yeah, really. We had a good time. It went really long. I got to do some edits to that. I think I'm probably going to get that. I'd like to get that out Friday, but I'm probably going to end up Monday with everything on my plate this week. But I'll let you know.
Well, yeah, you're going to be raging in Wynwood at all those after parties.
I did submit on there. I haven't heard back yet, but I did submit.
Oh, good.
So we'll see.
I'll follow up with them. I've been getting deluged with stuff from them, so it's going to be a crazy week. But everybody check it out. Brad will have it up in the weekend. But Casper Labs or Casper CSPR, it's enterprise focused, Rust. Not EVM. So it's another one going after the enterprise market. And great, sharp guy's been around for a while, 5, 6, 7 years, I think, based in Switzerland. So check them out.
Really,
all right.
We had a really good chat. Enjoyed chatting with him.
Cool.
All right, guys, have a good
all right,
one.
buddy.
Thanks.